Hi everyone, we are Team 3, also called the Germans of the Plot-A-Thon. We are composed of Anna, Jessica, Lars, and Philip. In the following, we will present our brief reflection on the data analysis done with Excel and visualization process within the last 28 hours, establishing an infographic entitled Recipe for Success. What are key factors of top-rated restaurants?
First, in order to know what we are going to be dealing with, our initial step was to establish an overview of the categories, as well as understand the scope of the given database. We cleaned the data in a second step, following the typical 5 steps: parsing, correcting, standardizing, matching, and consolidating, to make things easier to read and manage. More precise, this included converting the text into different columns, removing wrong punctuation marks, formatting categories, star rating, altering from German to American standards, figuring out missing data such as addresses by using the given latitude and longitude data, and, which was the most exhausting procedure, unifying data using interlocked if formulas in categories like alcohol and price range. Next, we filtered the database and limited the scope to only focus on restaurants. Lastly, we used comparison sortation in order to find out the best and worst ranked restaurants, being defined by the star ratings, higher or lower than 3 stars. Concludingly, we were able to work with the gist, namely on a tenth of the initial data, which made it a lot easier.
Moving on with the analysis, we shared a file to work on. Admittedly, this was very challenging as we faced a lot of struggles to work in one file simultaneously at first. Also, as we were often thrown out of the program. However, when it finally worked, we were curious to establish findings out of the prepared data. We split work and each was able to filter and correlate the data. We figured out different statistics, prepared diagrams like bar charts, tables, and maps, and collected them in a Google Doc, thereby keeping an eye on what we already found out. Here we faced another challenge, namely missing information in some categories, but we were able to overcome this by either establishing a no answer option or agreeing that these statements can be ignored. Altogether, we reflected on our findings and decided which were the most interesting, as well as outstanding information, and should therefore be included into the infographic. To be exact, this implied thrilling percentages, for instance referring to kid friendliness or the impact of offering alcohol. As a result, we were able to visualize these connections and patterns in constructing diverse diagrams as depicted.
Applications like Canva, Maptive, and Excel, but also old-fashioned style like paper and pens in the next step, we brainstormed, sketched the structure of this final infographic and switched around the single components, bearing in mind how to illustrate them informative, but also attractive and varying, so that it appears appealing to a potential audience. In doing so, we additionally made sure to include the colors, matching the Yelp logo as our data source. We finished our infographic by adding information and explanation in the next format to give our result further meaning. Last, we asked for feedback from the Excel expert, Professor Lenz, so that we could finalize our visualization and fine-tune any changes necessary.
Talking about our final document, we will now show you what are the key factors contributing to being a top-rated restaurant on Yelp. To answer this question, we could figure out that creating a pleasant experience is crucial, including factors such as being kid or better family-friendly, offering outside seating for further comfort, as well as having alcohol on the menu. Surprisingly, the majority of top-rated restaurants fall within the medium price range. On the other hand, it was interesting to notice that the worst-rated restaurants at hand were mostly fast food chains or delivery services, which cannot provide the full experience like a real restaurant regarding the need for comfort. Lastly, we noticed that top-rated restaurants are clustered in much-visited locations, especially downtown Santa Barbara. To sum it up, there are various factors contributing to being a popular restaurant, but all in all, what counts most is the whole experience and thus feeling pleasant.